Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Mahasayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Irrelations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. It's a mystical prayer. And we are getting into Bālakāṇḍa of Sri Ramcharitmanas by Goswami Tulsi Ji. Verse number 41 onwards. Tulsi Ji is giving a prologue to his great composition. The entire composition, the Ramayana, is Rama Kirti, the glory of Rama being portrayed through this great scripture. And the glory of Rama is allegorically being described like a sacred river. And the appearance of river changes in different seasons, changes and becomes more delightful. In India, the ancient calendar of Hindus, there are 6 seasons. Hemant, that starts with November, December. Shishir, January, February. Vasant, March, April. Grishma, summer, May, June. Then comes rain, July, August. And then comes autumn, called Sharad Ritu. That's September, October. So keeping these points in view, as we continue, I will explain to you. Kirati sarit chahu ritu ruri, samay suhavani pavani bhuri, him sail sutasyu avyahu, shishir sukhad prabhu jaram uchahu. Tulsi is giving the contents of Ramayana, but contents of Ramayana are being given in a highly allegorical way. They form the composition. They are written in poems. This river of Rama's glory is beautiful in all the 6 seasons, extremely enchanting and sanctifying. The story of Shiva Parvati Vivah, the marriage between Shiva and Parvati, all the subtle meanings, etc., we will come later. That's a Hemant Ritu. That's November, December. The celebration of Rama's birth that's Shishir Ritu. Shishir means cold, after the rains. Barnab Rama Vivaha Samaju, Somud Mangalamay Ritu Raju. And Rama's marriage, that's the spring season. and it is the king of all seasons. Grisham dusaha Rama banagavanu, pantha katha khara atapapavanu. Rama's being exiled into forest. That's the hot summer, May and June. And the path that Rama treads, his interaction with Khara and Dushana, that's the extreme heat. Varasha ghor nisachar rari, surkula sali subangalakari. And Rama's battle against the demons, that's the rainy season, July and August. And this rainy season is highly advantageous for cultivating divine wealth called Davi Sampat. It is extremely pleasing to gods, but in this context, gods relate to your divine virtues, non-violence, truthfulness, compassion, generosity of heart, goodness of the heart, and many good qualities we have been going on describing. These Devi virtues, they are described like paddy field. And just like paddy field grows with rains, if you study the Ramayana and absorb it, these virtues will grow. Rama Raja Sukha Vinaya Badai, Vishad Sukhad Soi Sarad Suhai. And Rama's rule, Rama has already accomplished his purpose. Now, the state of Ram Rajya that exudes joy, humility, and glory, that's like Sharad Ritu. Sharad Ritu is autumn season. The sky becomes clear. The moon shines the brightest. All these are allegorical, but however they are giving you basis for mental imagination. Sati siro manisiye guna gatha, soi guna amala anupam patha. And the story of the virtuous qualities of Sita, who is the crushed jewel among chaste women. Again, Sita is allegorically, rather mystically. Sita refers to viveka-buddhi, intuitive intellect. The entire Ramayana is a story of soul becoming wedded to viveka-buddhi, discriminative intellect. But in order to be wedded, the soul has to destroy all sources of demoniac qualities. But all the details we will go into as the Ramayana unfolds. So the glory of Sita, that is the purity of the water of this glorious river. The gentle nature of Bharata is the coolness of the river. That coolness remains always the same and is indescribable. Coolness, again, doesn't relate to physical coolness. It really understand how we use the term, how cool. So Bharata's role is how cool. Avalokani bolani milani प्रीति परस परहास भायप भली चहु बंधु की जल माधुरी सुवास. Four brothers, the way they look at each other, they talk to each other, meet with each other, their mutual love, their mutual laughter. All these is the sweetness and the fragrance of the river. Arati vinay deenata mori, laghuta lalit subari nathori, adbhut salil sunat gunagari kunakari, asa piyasa mano malahari. My Tulsidas is speaking of his own personal attitude. My attitude of art, of profound surrender, taking refuge in God, my humility, and my self-effacing attitudes towards Rama. These lend a special beauty to that river. And that beauty is not little. The water of that river is unique. Even if you just hear about that water from some pilgrims, just like what happens, people go to the Ganges river, and after pilgrimage they come back, and when they start telling about how they felt entering the Ganges, just the hearing of it, people become so inspired. So those who study the Ramayana, those who talk about the Ramayana, they are bringing that great river, mystic river, close to every individual. Adbhut salil sunat gunakari. This is a unique type of water. Even listening about its glory, it quenches the thirst of expectations. Human mind is always craving for certain situations, possessions, objects. That craving is a mystic thirst. And that thirst is fulfilled, quenched in a profound way if you study and meditate upon the scriptural teachings, the scripture and its teachings. It removes the malas of the mind. Malas are impurities. Always remember the 6 malas. Kama, Krodha. Kama is perverted desires. Krodha is anger. Lobha, greed. Moha, infatuation or delusion. Mada, conceit. Matsarya, jealousy. These are called balas, gross impurities. Mind is always filled with malas if you are not spiritually advancing. Rendering the mind free of mala. That's the purpose of sadhana and all spirituality. Kabira man nirmal bhayo, jaise Ganga neer. Saint Kabira says that my mind became pure like Ganges water. Pache lage hari firay, kahat Kabir Kabir. God who always ran away from me. The moment he heard Kabir is coming, God runs away. But man nirmal bhayo, when the mind became purified, pache lage hari phire, then it is God who is going after you. Kahat Kabir, 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 don't run away too much. Again, highly allegorical. The relationship between human being and God, that relationship is extremely distant. God is always your reality. You cannot separate yourself from God. Human soul is like a reflected sun. A reflected sun is always sustained by the sun. But a special love of the sun goes to that reflection where the pot contains clear water. If the mind is purified, it's like clear water. Now this soul within you and the sun, they become as if, allegorically speaking, as if in tune. You speak it in another way, God, you become dear to God. The term is used in Gita and scriptures. And people generally get confused. Why aren't all souls dear to God? The fact is, all souls are dear to God. But that loving closeness of God becomes, you feel when the malas are removed. Otherwise, even though God is closest to you, you don't feel His presence. Ram supremahi poshata pani, harat satal kali kalush galani. This Kirti river nourishes Ram Bhakti, love for Rama. That's the purpose behind the Ramayana. When you listen, sing the Ramayana, propagate the Ramayana, love for God becomes more and more mature. It removes all the sins of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, as people talk about the Iron Age and different ways, but subtle meaning behind it, that every individual led by the three gunas experience different states of consciousness. If tamas is dominating your mind, tamas, lot of darkness, lot of dullness, lot of inertia, then you experience Kali Yuga, an era of most degraded culture. It's allegorical. Kali Yuga, all the yugas, the 4 ages or 4 eras, they are relating to human personality. In other words, every individual, when your mind is clouded by anger and hate, then you are living in Kali Yuga. When your mind becomes little bit relieved, and anger and hate, you are able to cover up, but not completely destroy. Then you are coming to Dvapar Yuga. And when you begin to see your defects, and there arises the inspiration, the idea, let me remove my vices. Instead of being tortured by your vices, you just have a clear sankalpa, let me remove them. Then you have gone to Treta Yuga. In the stories of scriptures, The demons in Treta Yuga, the moment you saw them, you know they were demons because they had horns, their big teeth, and their strange bodies. But demons in Dvapar Yuga, they appeared more grand than normal human beings, like Duryodhana, Karna, and many others. And then, if mind is filled with sattva, the highest state, then you are in Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga, where your deepest source of misery is cut down very fast. So in a single day, you may go through all the 4 yugas. You may wake up with a little Satya Yuga. Little later, you get into Treta Yuga. Little later, Dvapar Yuga. By the evening, you begin to curse everyone, Kali Yuga. Which yuga you want to live in, that will depend upon your purushartha, your self-effort, your sadhana. And of course, the ideal is to maintain Satya Yuga. Live in Satya Yuga. If your devotion to God continues in your heart, Satya Yuga will begin to blossom more and more. Rama suprema hi poshata pani, harat sakala kali kalusha dalani, bhavashrama shosha katosha katosha, samana durita durk darida dosha. This water nourishes love of God, removes the sins of Kali Yuga, and dissolves regrets and mental distress. This Ramayana, the river of Ramayana, the river of Rama's glory, strips you of all your effort. This is done in a positive way. Effort implying you will have absolute rest. Strips you of all tensions. You must understand, in mystical world, where is rest? In biblical statement, Christ says, where can I find rest? Foxes have holes, birds have nests to lay their head upon. But where is the Son of Man? Where is he to lay his head upon? I'm giving you succinctly, not quoting exactly. But the idea behind it, if you ask, where is rest? Where is aram? The real rest. You may say, oh, I have a lot of time to rest. But that's childish talk. As long as you are in your embodiment, everything goes on changing. Every place that you feel that will be very secure to you will change. The very earth planet will not be there. Things go on changing day by day, hour after hour. In the midst of all this, where is rest? But rest comes if you have attained liberation, if you have developed bhakti of Rama, the bhakti of God. When I say Rama, it means Krishna, it means Shiva, it means Jesus. Whomsoever, whoever is God for you, God has many aspects. And this story gives contentment to contentment. That's Looks like a riddle. How to make contentment contented. Work about it. First point, why? Because human contentment is conditioned. Called Nirankush, Sankush contentment. Sankush tripti. Ankush means a little nail. You are contented, just like horses. Horses are controlled with a little nail at their head. Ankush. Similarly, times when you become contented, things that become so happy for a while, you must realize it is that Ankush contentment. It will not last forever. There is a nail on the head. But when you attain liberation, Nirankush contentment. Ankush is no longer. Now your contentment is forever, for eternity. You don't have to do anything further after attaining liberation. And it is the remover of pap. Pap is sinful karmas. But in sinful karmas, in this context, all karmas that keep you in the world process, that's the broader definition of sin, that requires some mental understanding. It is not just sin and virtue, but even virtuous karmas that inflate your ego. Though you have done a lot of virtuous karmas that have entitled you to become very powerful, very famous, and so forth, that will not give you liberation. Liberation comes by a special movement in your personality, movement towards devotion, meditation, samadhi, tattva-gyan, knowledge of self. When that process opens up, you attain liberation. Until then, you are stripped by karmas, good and bad. Being stripped by karmas and being stuck to the world process, that's the broad concept of sin. Washing away all sins, that's what pilgrims expect by plunging themselves into Ganges water. Now, also scriptures are interpreted from different angles. If you are not in this high level, then yes, your negative karmas will be removed by study of scriptures, and you will be endowed with positive karmas, which makes a big difference in your life. But this is a primary school. If you are in an advanced school, all karmas, good and bad, they should not grip your soul. Your soul must be absolutely rid of karmas. Kama koha madamoha nasavan, vimal viveka-viraga badhavan. Tulsi further elaborates upon mala, gross impurity. Kama, perverted desires. Krodha, anger. Mada, conceit. Moha, delusion or infatuation. And what is not mentioned is implied. matsarya, jealousy. All these are removed from your mind. When malas are removed from your mind, you enjoy your life the way you could never imagine. But experiencing your life with a mind restricted by mala, that life will have its ups and downs, will have its prosperity and adversity. But there is no absolute joy, there is no absolute rest. And therefore Tulsi Dasji gives this instruction that the teachings presented in the Ramayana are destroyer of all the malas. Vimal. You're going to promote nirmal mind, mind free of malas. As a result, viveka viraga badhavan. It is enhancer of vivek. Vivek means discriminative vision, discriminative understanding, discriminative intellect. The intellect that can differentiate between truth and falsehood, self and not self. Coming to the most important point, Vivek implies to understand that I am different from body, mind, intellect, senses. Body, mind, intellect, senses, ego, they come in the category of not self. And there is a difference between the real I am and the I am that is mixed up with the not self. Vedanta guides you to understand how, when you go to deep sleep, what happens? You are not aware of your physical body, but do you miss it? You are happy. You are not aware of your senses. You shed, turn aside, move even ego and intellect, you turn away from them. And still you are. That state is pointing to the self. The reality in you is not dependent on body, mind, intellect, senses. To have that understanding, to see the difference, that the real I am is ever untouched by the not self. And not self doesn't exist as reality. Again, viveka develops in a progressive manner. Though you are told all this, you cannot get vivek simply because you have intellectually understood it. Vivek will grow gradually, progressively. And along with the growth of vivek, vairagya will grow. Vairagya means dispassion. Dispassion implies your mind begins to see the defects and illusory nature of sense enjoyments. Not only sense enjoyments, all type of dependence on the world are called raga, attachment. That raga is turned to vairagya. Mind begins to see misery, limitation, and illusion involved in all things that people go after in a from a mundane point of view. An ultimate state of Vairagya, not to be born as a human being. The entire possibility of being a human being, having all the possibility for becoming rich and famous, and even to have divine status. Don't take it too literally, I'm referring to relative type of virtue. And Vairagya, no, nothing. I don't want anything of this. I want to attain that where there is no coming back to the world. Goodbye to the world process forever. Not bye-bye. Sadar majjan pan kiyete. If you study the Ramayana, it's as if you are entering into the river, that mystic river of Rama's glory. And when you enter into the river, sometimes your mouth opens up and you step in. And sometimes out of devotion, when you go into the Ganges river, you put it in your hand and very respectfully bring it to your lips and you sip. So majjan and pan. So as you enter into this river of Ramayana and steep your mind in all the glory of God and sip into your heart the sweetness of divine love, all this removes papa, the burden of karmas, and removes paritapa. Everyone suffers from threefold adversities. This is spoken from a very broad point of view. Subjective, threefold troubles. Subjective trouble, troubles that come from within your body and mind, from within your own personality, and that's lots of trouble. And troubles that adhibhautic trouble, this is called adhyatmic, subjective. Adhibhautic, troubles that come from the world around you. You may be feeling wonderful and nothing is wrong with you. But go out and suddenly someone ridicules you. If there is no someone but just creatures, a bee bites you. Anything can happen. Or if there is nothing, there is just a banana peel, and you slip upon it. This adhibhautic trouble. And remember how this world is so big. So the troubles that can come to you, they are limitless. Then there is adhidaivic trouble, act of God, earthquakes, hurricanes, terrible wars. That's inconceivable by human being. So, being gripped by karmas, the soul has no choice but to go on experiencing threefold troubles. But when you attain liberation, your goal is to attain liberation, free from all this, all the sinful karmas, free from all these troubles of the world process. Jinehi bari namanas doye, te kayer kalikala bigoye, trishita niraki ravikar bhavabari, Pirihahi mirga jibi jiva dikhari, dukhari. Those people who didn't bring this pure water in their heart, the water of Rama's glory. When your mind admires something, it ends up opening a little channel into your heart, and a sense of gratifying feeling enters into your heart. That's why people call it yum. And the heart is called hridayam. So those who do not allow this experience to happen, they care, they are cowards, and they are being deceived by Kali Yuga, the Iron Age. As a little deviation, a humorous way, I explain the kaya term, coward. Coward means being drawn to simple-minded cows. Don't be a cow. That's called coward. Contrary to coward, Godward. You have two choices, big choices to make. Don't make coward choices. Move Godward. The Hindi word for coward is kair. All the pleasures of the world are like mirage, and jivas, souls, they are running after those pleasures, just like the deer go after mirage. And they, in that process, many of them die, and their skeletons are strewn by the desert areas. Mati anuhari subari gun, guna gana gani mana anahai, sumiri bhavani sankarahi, kaha kavi katha suhai. Having thus reflected upon the virtues, the qualities of this divine sacred river, and having allowed the mind to plunge into the waters of this river, having meditated on Shiva and Parvati, Tulsi ji plans to compose the Ramayana. Poet Tulsi Das, because the entire Ramayana is written in excellent poetry. Ab pad ragupadi pada pankaruva, ye dhari pai prasad, kahau jugala muni mare varyakar, milan subhag samvad. Keeping the lotus feet of Rama in my heart, and having received their grace, I commence the Ramayana, first beginning with a dialogue between two great sages, Bharadwaj and Yajnavalkya. And we will keep the dialogue for the next time. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.